I've talked about different types of fabric and different garments which are tricky to sew. So we are starting on what we call the easiest fabrics for you to build up your confidence. But everything I've shown you has been sewn. So the beauty of garment making or garment alterations, that it's already been sewn into a garment, you know it's definitely possible to sew it on the machine. All it is a few little tips to help you control and manage and work with fabrics that may have a specialist finish, or maybe particularly thin and slippy, or maybe a bit more bulky, but it's all possible. Okay, once you have your practice fabric, we're going to start sewing, but I want you just to portion off your fabric first, because we're going to be working with ready-made garments, or if you are garment making, you've already cut out your pattern. So we just need pieces of fabric. And when we're making clothes or do garment alterations, we'll be placing two pieces of fabric together. But first, we're going to sew a single piece of fabric and sew next to the edge on what a typical seam allowance would be. The machine is thread. The bobbin is in and the threads have been pulled through. You are on a straight stitch and your stitch length is on 3. If your needle is in the down position, move the hand wheel forward to lift the needle as high as it will go. Use presser foot lever to lift the foot. Ensure both threads are to the back of the machine and you have a tail. On your sewing machine here, there will be some guides, and where it says 10 here, that is 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter from the center of where your needle will be sewing your stitch line. 20 is 2 centimeters, 30 is 3 centimeters, and this also has inches as well. Place your fabric under the machine. I'm going to go on this 1.5 centimeter as my guide, and notice I've got some fabric at the back. This is deliberate because often on alterations you're not starting right on the edge of a seam, and it's that first bit on the edge that can often cause a bit of knotting. So if we start by practicing by leaving a centimetre or so out the back, when you're ready you can start to sew. I'm guiding the fabric through exactly the same as I did the paper. If I let go, so have a little go letting go. If I let go, it's just going to go a little bit wiggly. I'm just holding it straight, but I'm not pushing or pulling it through, and I'm watching this edge next to my guide here. When you stop sewing, if the needle is in the fabric, turn your hand wheel to lift up your foot, pull. Here can you see there's a bit of stuck there, so I'm just moving the hand wheel to wiggle and then it will become free. Pull the threads, I use the edge of the sewing machine as a guide, and then snip. Inspect your stitching. I've used a different colour for you to see, and there's the back. There's no loose threads. I'm going to sew another row, and this time I'm going to use the first line of stitching as my guide, and I'm going to line up the edge of the foot here. So instead of using the machine plate, I'm using my foot and I'm lining that up with the row of stitching that I've already done. Threads are at the back. When I stop, lift the needle, lift the foot, pull away to the edge of the machine, cut my threads and inspect my stitching. Once we've done our practice on a single piece of fabric, we are then going to put two pieces together and sew them together as if it was a seam. Place two pieces of fabric on top of each other and use my guide here, which is 1.5 centimeters. Threads at the back. This time I need to make sure that I'm lining up the two edges. Here they go. Lining up the two edges. Needle up, foot up, pull the work away, snip the threads, inspect the stitching, and there I have a seam. This is what it looks like, and this is what it looks like on the outside. Now if we look here, if I start to pull, this seam is going to come away. So I'm going to show you how to secure your seams, and then you'll be ready to sew some real garments. So I'm going back under the machine, and to secure the seam I am going to look for a button on my sewing machine that looks like this. So it has an arrow that goes round the opposite way, and that is a reverse stitch. I will show here where it will be on other machines. So it could just be a push down button or a flat button. When you start sewing, you're going to just do 2 stitches, and then you're going to press the reverse and do 2 stitches backwards, and then carry on sewing forwards. Check the fabric is together and check you're using your guide. And when I want to stop sewing, I'm going to press my reverse, 1, 2, then forwards, 1, 2, make sure the needle is up, inspect your stitching, and this is what you'll have at the end and the beginning of your seams. And so look, now the seam will not come apart. You have secured it with 2 reverse stitches. You are sewing. So remember that you are practicing sewing on the edge of the fabric using your presser foot or the guide on the plate. You've got your little reverse stitches to secure the ends of your lines of stitching. You're then practicing with 2 pieces on top of each other. Again, you're still using the guide plate or your presser foot to make sure you're sewing an even distance from the edge, and make sure your threads are as long as from your needle to the edge of your machine, and both of them are at the back of the machine when you start sewing to go forwards. Let me know how you get on.